We had some cake ready for you, by the way.
Okay. Thanks.
Obviously, the cake you couldn't have because you were too full already.
I'll have it later.
Yeah,
Okay.
hopefully. What did you make for us again? What was it called? An oat?
So I don't know what it's called, but yeah, it's like an oat bar. So there's
Okay.
like it's made from oatmeal, a lot of sugar, and then Nutella.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
And the thing with this is like it's super easy to make, but everyone who has it, they really like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you guys will like it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's something that you're focusing on yourself, kind of, like in terms of you're trying to make easy to make food and publicize that, right? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah.
Do you
'Cause-
prefer desserts or making just bigger dishes, like, you know, the main
Yeah.
dishes? Which one do you prefer?
I don't like making desserts. I'm really bad at it because it's baking, and baking you have to be it's kind of like a science, so you have to be super precise. And I am really bad with precision, so I really prefer to make whatever, like, on top of my head, but I don't like baking.
Do you still measure salt and stuff, just,
No.
the spirits of
No, I
your,
only
your
do-
ancestors is this much?
I do carry the spirit of my grandma. I do not measure anything.
That's good.
But I do it for the page. Like when I do,
Ah.
when I post a recipe, I do have to I backtrack. So I've made this 100 times, but I backtrack and like measure how much I would put in it.
I see.
Yeah.
But like the stuff that you make, it being easy, especially for a time like right now, like me as someone who lives alone, someone who struggles from not having a parent
Yeah.
or anyone to cook for me. Obviously I cook myself,
Yeah.
but like I've got like 2 or 3 dishes,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So like,
For sure.
Every time I come over, he has pasta and like some minced meat in it.
Well, like,
as if he's a
that's
chef.
pretty good. That's not bad.
it's
I've
fine.
seen worse.
It's
Okay,
it's
but
a
like-
single man's meal.
yeah, but like, does it count, Alka, if the pasta sauce is ready and bought?
No comment.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Like, I'm not the only one.
No,
Gilles
for sure.
told us, and he
Yeah.
told us to tell you.
Yeah.
He's a friend of ours. He was in
Yeah.
media as well. He was like, look, I live off this girl's page. Like, he was like, it's the most simple stuff. Like, because some of us have been brought, this is why it's so unique,
Yeah.
honestly. It's like some of us have been brought up to only like Kurdish food. Like, obviously, we can have a burger every now and
Yeah.
again and a
Yeah.
pizza.
Yeah, but you gotta have the brunch.
You gotta
You
come
gotta
back to
have
the
the
Yeah,
range of
yeah,
fast
yeah,
food,
for sure.
and you
yeah.
can't find that on Google.
No.
No
Google's
way.
great, but it won't
Yeah.
have that.
No, you won't have
You
it.
won't have that. So, yeah, you got a lot of simple stuff on there, which is
Yeah.
great. But why is it good for a time like this? Because of the coronavirus, right? You can't be going
you
out.
have to stay home. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to stay home, go on your page,
Exactly.
and look
right?
at the best recipe for that
Yeah.
day.
Well, the thing with food is it's actually really easy to make. So whatever you think is difficult, it's really easy to make. So whatever I put on the page is the way my mother makes it or my grandma makes it. It's just that it's not been brought up, like, demonstrated properly.
Right.
So when you go on Google, you can't find fasolya. I mean, you
That's
could,
true.
but it's like a different kind of fasolya.
Of course.
Or you can't find the type of Kurdish rice that we do. So we've never had that. So once it's in front of you with pictures and with instructions, you realize how simple cooking actually is. So it's not that I'm making it simple, it's that it is simple and I'm just showing you how to make it.
Right. Yeah.
That's how I see it more,
You're right, but the way that you do it is not unconventional, but it's conventional because of the tools that Instagram gives you. But would you prefer to have a whole video demonstration of you doing absolutely everything?
So yeah, sometimes I'm like, so for like something like yaprach, it would be nice to do that because it's a bit more difficult. Or like kifta would be more difficult.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, but because the pictures do take time, and sometimes I'm home alone and I do these things alone or with one hand. If like my husband is home, he'll sometimes help me. But I do now have come to the realization that I do like IG stories because sometimes I'm like, okay, now I know this, and then I just click, and it goes by really fast. Then I can stop on one story if I need to like look at the measurement. Whereas in a video, I have to like go back, and
That's true.
so there are benefits and downsides
Of course.
to both.
I mean, the downsides are way less, I'd imagine, because
Yeah.
I've used it for your roast chicken and it's turned out great. But you said that you use a lot of like your mum and your grandma's, recipes. Have you been innovative yourself, or have you like checked out, I don't know, another place?
No, most of the recipes, like whatever recipe I have on, it's not exactly like my grandma's or exactly like my mom's. I always do change a little bit of something.
Right.
Just because my, taste buds, my palate is different from their palate, and it's changed.
Sorry, what does that mean?
like my taste buds, my
Oh,
palate.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough. Okay, go on.
Yeah, so it's different from theirs. They're used to using way more oil, or like I sometimes use olive oil in my rice, and that's like a sin, you know.
It
I would
is
never
weird.
tell my
It
grandma,
is kind of weird.
you know, and you don't even taste the difference, but you know, they're just used to it. I wouldn't. So there are things that I do differently. Like I do sometimes add more of something to it than, you know, my mom would. So I do change a lot of, not a lot, but some things to make it just a bit better.
A bit better, as in like just taste better, or do you also look at like
Health-wise as
Health-wise,
well. Yeah, I do.
because-
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
Is that your own touch?
Yeah,
trying to make it healthier.
Yeah, sometimes it's not something that I do like actively, like oh, I need to make this healthier, but I just by nature would want to not use as much oil or as much salt or as much sugar, so it just comes naturally. But sometimes, yeah, it's also flavor wise, because Kurdish food sometimes it's not
Linear.
as flavorful, you know. So
Yeah,
I
it's
don't want
just
to say
the oil and the
bland,
salt. Let's
right?
be honest.
Yeah, it's mostly salt. So sometimes I do add like a spice. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's like something my mom wouldn't do, for example.
Your mum wouldn't do.
Yeah, but
right.
but I might do because I'm.
Why
like,
do you
oh.
think your taste buds are like that? Because you've been like more accustomed to and exposed to
Yeah.
Indian restaurants, for example.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've been exposed to so many different kind of cuisines, and I
Yeah.
like all of them. So I try to incorporate like different, you know, flavors into Kurdish cuisine. So I think that's it. Because if if your palate is only used to one kind, then you're pretty content with that. But once you've experienced a lot of different ones, then you want to
start
yeah
changing
yeah
up.
exactly, you want to make it better. Yeah.
I like how I like how you're basing what you cook and what the recipes are off of your taste buds. I like to call it taste buds. And not what you think people might. Obviously, you think about the other people
Yeah.
like, but it's like if it's what you. It's like an artist, right? And when an
Yeah.
artist does something for everyone, it turns out to be garbage most of the time. But if it's something that you like, you get something like a
Yeah.
masterpiece. You know what I mean?
I do feel like I know, not that I know good food, but I know generally what people would like, especially Kurdish people. And I know that they have been exposed to kinds of foods that if we incorporate this specific ingredient, it wouldn't change the flavor too much, but it would kind of like enhance it,
Right.
So I do think about these things, and I don't do anything crazy, like I don't go out of like adding, I don't know, whatever, like
Mustard to
mustard
rice.
to like to rice or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you travel a lot, or where do you get your experience of food from? Like, where did your love of it start, and why did you choose to do a page about food? Were you doing it for Kurdish people or other people, that are not Kurds, trying to introduce them to our dishes?
Yeah, well, my love of food, I don't even remember when it started, because my family they all love food. So I grew up with it, and it only became like super apparent that my family is kind of an anomaly when we had like my cousins got married, and then I got married, and we had new people come into our family.
Okay.
When they're like, oh, you guys talk about food all the time. I'm like, is that like not normal? Like we just talk about food all the time. So for me, like it just started like since I was born. Like, I was a really picky eater when I was growing up, but that changed.
Okay.
And yeah, so I grew up in Sweden, so the flavors there were so different as well. And I have traveled, not a lot, but I have traveled, and when I do travel, I do try a lot of different types of food. I try to not stick with only pasta, like I try to taste whatever they have, in that country. So I started the page actually, funnily enough, I started the page in 2012.
Really?
What?
Not the page. I started a blog. Do not go on the blog. It's still there. There's nothing on it.
It'd be a
There's
good
like
time
a few,
to raise traffic for
right?
if you
No,
want.
it's only like a few recipes. I started just because I really liked food, and I was like, oh, it's really easy to make, and people don't know about Kurdish food. Because when you write Kurdish food on Google, you get a few
Nothing,
pictures,
yeah.
but like not a lot of blogs. So I started it, and then I started uni, and I kind of like, didn't do it for a while, but I still was cooking. So it was always on my mind that that's something that I'm going to do, because I just knew that it wasn't there. So I think when I moved to Ireland, for like a period of time, for 2 months, 3 months, I was unemployed. So I was like, it's a great time to start.
Yeah.
So that's just how it started, And I didn't do it initially to kind of expose people to Kurdish food. I just did it because I liked it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's fun. And I got such a good feedback from people.
Oh, for sure.
And from people like Shad, who lives alone, and like, you've saved my life. Like, I miss my mom's recipes. Now I have them. Like, or from people who are married to Kurdish people whose husbands like really wanted Kurdish food, but they couldn't make it. So they messaged me, and they're like, thank you. And I'm like, yeah, you should thank me for your marriage, like things like that. But yeah, so like I got such a good feedback that I'm like now more consciously thinking of the foods that I put up, like what would people find useful, like, you know, what can be, you know. So yeah, now it's become more like there's more direction to my page, but initially it really didn't have that. Yeah.
So you get a lot of people reaching out to you, telling you.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. I think that like keeps it going, you know.
How are you handling the fame so far?
I'm so famous now. No, I'm handling it. I'm
I'm just
I don't.
But it's nice. I agree with you. Every time someone sends a message of support, it always like it keeps you going. Even for us, like every time we get a message, like
it's true. It's true. Yeah, if you support something, be vocal about it. We'll keep going.
Exactly.
But I'm intrigued to know like how were the places you've been and how that's affected. Because you said something about how like you were in Sweden, right?
Yeah.
And how Sweden changed the spices. And I was just thinking like, what kind of food does Sweden really have? Like,
yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have any spice. They don't have spices.
What is it? Like IKEA's meatballs?
It's exactly like IKEA's meatballs. I mean, the food in Sweden is quite different because like our staple food is rice, right? Like that's what we eat mostly. There's this potato.
Yeah.
And like meatballs and like sauce and things like that. And when I was growing up, it wasn't like I loved Swedish food. I was a really picky eater, so mostly I just liked fried potatoes. Like that's all I would eat. So when we moved back, for some reason I started missing Swedish food. And I was like 11 at the time, and I would like miss pasta and I would miss these things. So I would go and research how to make it online.
Okay.
So that's like a way that like, you know, I started cooking and looking at recipes from other countries, but like in terms of Sweden, it's not like a super spicy, you know,
they have a lot
cuisine.
of template foods, maybe.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
They
so,
do.
Like
it's
salt was your favorite, like, you know, seasoning for there because like of the fries, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what you call a template food is what she calls a stable food.
Staple,
I think we're close on the definitions.
Yeah, I think it's called a staple food.
I think that as well. Yeah. I mean,
mine sounds cool though.
But it's funny because I can't think of like a Swedish cuisine or what they would have.
It's very like there's a word that people use for Sweden generally, which is lagom, which is not really. It's I don't know what the exact translation, like the transliteration would be, but it's like medium. Like, you know, like everything is just
that sounds
medium.
so uninspiring.
Yeah.
God.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like it's not uninspiring. It's just that they found a balance. You know, they don't go overboard. It's
like we have the most average food in the world.
It's not average. No, their food is okay. Everybody likes to go to IKEA and have the meatballs.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
that's the only thing though, and like they force you because it's so big.
Yeah.
Like you have to be hungry at the end.
Yeah.
You know.
You have to go for breakfast and then you have to go.
For dinner later. Okay, sure. It depends on how long you are. But you've been to, obviously, you said you were in Ireland as well, but you finished Harvard as a master's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were in Boston as well.
Yeah.
And tell me about how that, because obviously when you go to restaurants and stuff, when you, I don't know, get takeout, you're inspired by different flavors and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't relate because I don't cook much, but like, how would you explain how it was different in Boston?
Yeah, so Boston seafood is like a huge deal. You know, people love seafood because they're by the sea.
Yeah.
But when I was in Boston, I actually experienced a lot of Asian cuisine and South Asian cuisine, so like Indian and Pakistani food. And Pakistani food was the first time I was exposed to it. So one of my friends, I was like, oh, so what is Pakistani food? She's like, it's Indian food, but better. And it's kind of true.
That's
kind of.
It's a bit spicier, like Indian food.
Yeah, it is.
It's a little bit like I would say.
I feel like it's oilier as well.
A little bit oilier, like
greasier.
it's really good. Like
it is,
I think
it is.
that was something like I started trying to, you know, add spices and things to that, but I don't want to, you know, make Kurdish food Pakistani food.
Of course,
but like that was something I experienced, you know, first time in Boston.
Yeah.
Asian food, like I started learning more about it, looking at the ingredients because they have an Asian store there, you know.
Yeah.
So I would go there.
How do you feel about sushi?
I love sushi.
You love sushi?
I love sushi.
All kinds, or is there a specific one?
I don't love
still
sashimi.
Don't get it.
I don't love sashimi, like the one that's just fish.
Yeah.
But I love like all kinds of sushi.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get into it. I've been given it so many chances.
Really?
I keep asking people.
Have you had really good sushi?
I don't know what that means because I keep saying
He has not.
Like,
He has not. Yeah.
Nope.
Why is it such a specialized dish that nobody can make it correctly? Apparently.
I'd say it's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd say it's because you need to keep it fresh, right?
Yeah.
And the lack of the market here would mean, that you can't really. You know.
It may sound ignorant, but the bland rice just doesn't do it for me. I don't get it. I don't get it.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because this hero of the dish of a sushi would be like the fish, right?
I guess
So
so.
if your quality of fish is not good, then the flavor of the sushi wouldn't be good either.
That's
would
fair
say.
enough.
Yeah.
Is there anything? Is there any cuisine that you don't like that's popular?
Yeah, I was gonna say, which one wouldn't you try, or haven't you tried? You haven't tried.
Of course, you try, right?
I would try it.
Okay, so you try
Yeah.
about anything.
Yeah, not like weird things though.
I
Yeah.
didn't try camel meat.
I
even
wouldn't
though-
try camel
like,
meat.
it just didn't feel right.
No,
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 I'm
no.
just gonna
Like-
stay silent right now.
Okay.
Oh, you tried
I've
it?
tried camel meat.
I don't know. It comes in kebabs. You can put
I
on
know.
rice.
No, I
like-
wouldn't try camel meat. I don't
I
know.
don't-
Okay,
Yeah,
what
I'm
about
not that
what about
exp-
frogs?
I've had frogs.
If it
Wait, you went
doesn't-
to Paris, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't have frogs.
Why is
No.
that? Is that
What about was it? Yeah, of course, snails and frogs, right?
I've had snails. I like snails.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Okay, so
I've
I would
tried
have
snails.
frog.
Why are
if it
snails
does-
okay but not frogs?
I don't know. If the frog, if it's not in the shape of the frog, I might try it. But if it's like in the
Oh.
shape of the frog,
I'm
I
not
don't
What
really
do you
know.
gonna do? You can't make
Yeah.
like mince of like frog.
You can
frog
cut
mince,
it
like,
up
you mean-
or something.
Well, I had the legs. It looked kind of nice.
We did see it in Malaysia when we were there. Like frogs, like full body, like on a
It's
stick.
full on.
Yeah, it was. I didn't try it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
don't
the
blame
most
you.
appealing dish.
No.
I don't blame you. I
No.
don't blame you. But like for me, Indian cuisine is the best.
It's really good. Yeah.
Indian cuisine is the best for me, and takeaway Chinese is the best.
Yeah.
Am I wrong with the Pakistani thing though?
Yeah, I think you should try Pakistani.
I have
food.
tried Pakistani, but I like homemade Pakistani, which is supposed to be good as well.
Yeah.
But like not as much as I should, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, spicy food is obviously really good, but
Yeah.
I've noticed that there's more of a, I want to say demand here in Slimani
Yeah.
for spicy food nowadays because
You think so?
I think so because I see,
I hope so.
yeah, a lot more people asking for spicy,
Mm.
you know, but whether I see Indian food becoming more popular amongst Kurds,
Yeah.
not so much.
Yeah.
Because when we go to Indian places and
Yeah.
restaurants, it's usually foreigners that go there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to see that happen, right?
Yeah, I would love that. They used to have India Gate in Suli, and I think I was their only customer.
Everyone
Pretty
felt
much.
like
Yeah.
they were the only
Yeah.
customer.
They knew
I
my
mean,
name.
they had
Like they knew
five.
me. You
They had
know,
5 of
we were
them.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's a lot of more Chinese places and Nepalese opening
Yeah.
in Slimani, which I really like. But I think a lot of people are getting scared and just racially profiling
Oh, for sure.
restaurants
Yeah.
nowadays as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. Even that's not even exclusive to Kurdistan. It's
Yeah, I
all
don't
around
think
the
so.
world. Yeah. For sure.
Were you around the island in Ireland when the outbreak happened of the
Yeah,
virus?
yeah.
How's the things
Has it
going?
started there? Like, I mean,
Yeah, it's in the
is
UK.
there-
I don't know about
Yeah,
Ireland.
it's in the UK. Ireland, I think they just had 2 confirmed cases.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we were there, and actually, my boss invited us to a Chinese restaurant, so to kind of like destigmatize it, you know?
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
because
good.
because they were losing a lot of business because
So-
people were kind of scared. Yeah.
Right, so academia just thought, hey, I'm gonna come in and just make things
Wanna
equal
save your
again.
day. No,
It's,
yeah,
it's,
no.
it's either very nice of him or it was a trap all along. So
You never know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
we'll find out in 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what about last thing about where you went and stuff?
Yeah.
But Irish food, I can't think of anything to do with like what's Irish
Irish-
food.
It's
does
like a
shepherd's
roast.
pie count? Like,
I don't know if-
Roast.
like
What is
a
that?
like a Sunday roast.
Yeah.
a Sunday roast
with like the
also.
gravy and the
Yeah,
vegetables.
it's like wherever like a mrishk or a turkey, and then
right.
you put it in the oven.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a lot more
What's, the
complicated.
Sun-
than
Yeah.
that.
what's going on the Sunday though?
It's like a thing they do on like it's kind of like our Friday meal.
Is that the
yeah,
weekend meal?
Yeah, so they do that on a Sunday. They do like a whole roast, and we went to a carvery in Ireland, and we had like different pieces of meat with gravy and like vegetables and potatoes and things like that. Yeah.
Is there any dish that you can't make over there in Ireland that you can't wait to have when you're in Slimani?
Yeah, I just made it knit. You can't find it.
For
That's true.
real,
Where
it's
the hell?
so
Because
nice.
It's basically
Knit is
dirt
so
in other places.
It's dirt in other
Knit,
places. I really, luckily enough, I found what it's called in English through the page. Like I asked,
What
people,
is
I'm
it
like, what
called?
is it called? Apparently, it's called it's tumble thistle, and it's
Okay.
the scientific name is like Gondalia, I want to say. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, I can't find that there.
I'd imagine you have a lot of those issues in terms of having to translate a certain
Some of the-
ingredient into English.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah, I mean, this one was particularly difficult because I had no idea what this
How
was.
do you
like.
even describe it?
Yeah,
Is
what
Well,
is
kind of,
knit?
yeah.
Yeah,
it, is it
but it was really
spiky? What is
yeah.
it?
I actually googled spiky root vegetable, but nothing came up. But like, yeah, the page was super helpful. So many people responded. Like, I had a response that was potato, but and I don't want to say his name, but you guys know him. But yeah, so a lot of people like answered and it was true. Like I looked it up, I did some of the research and it was tumble.
So a lot of vegetable experts on your page following
Seems
you.
like it, yeah.
You have food lovers on your page,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
That's what you
It's
have.
awesome, yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason the page grows so fast is everyone loves food. It doesn't need a language.
It's universal,
or,
right?
Yeah, it's universal. It's just,
Exactly.
I don't know.
The way you
the tummy section.
shoot it is really nice as well. The shots,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Do you like pay attention to that a lot?
Yeah.
Do you have
I
like a
do.
different camera or is it just your phone?
It's just my phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Initially, like I wasn't thinking of making it like that, but my friend kind of like advised me. She's my social media advisor.
You're still doing this even though you have another job, right? A
Yeah.
full-time job.
Yeah.
How do you manage to do both of them at the same time?
When I started, I didn't have a job, so it was easier to just
Wait, so
make
you were
it-
more active back then as well, right?
Yeah, I was more active.
yeah.
I try to do like at least a post a week. I do sometimes have like posts that I've just saved that I kind of do when I don't have time to do like a cook that one that week. So I try to plan for it. I do plan for it. Like if it's a weekend, I do say like today I'm making this and I'm gonna post it. Like, so it's not just I'm making this and I'm posting it. No, I kind of consciously think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about like, do you ever experiment and just like make something out of nothing?
Oh yeah,
freestyling. And
I do it all the time. I've started like I'm gonna start to do that more, like weeknight meals, like really simple ones that I just do, like out of nothing. So I'm gonna start posting those more, and that's what I do. Like I just I look at my fridge, whatever ingredient I have, I just make something out of it. But yeah.
That's what I want to be able to do. Like, but then again, you know what I find really hard here? I'm sure you don't have this problem too much in Ireland, but it's like finding fresh, ingredients. Like, for example, something as simple as getting just a fillet steak.
Yeah.
Just but like one serving by
Yeah.
itself, and then just cooking it like that. But that's something you struggle with in Kurdistan because usually people buy in bulk. You don't usually get it for yourself as a single
I
person.
feel like
right?
you don't have a
True.
meat guy. That's why.
Yeah,
you're
you gotta
struggling with
get
that.
your meat guy.
You need a qasab.
Yeah.
Like,
But like
get your number.
because filet is so hard to find here, by the way, filet tenderloin.
Yeah,
Not a
they're
lot of,
they're
not a
really
lot of the
difficult,
butchers
yeah.
do it.
Yeah, because it goes straight to the restaurant. That's the problem.
Or
Yeah.
to themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Do you have you made a filet recipe?
I did a steak recipe.
I saw a steak. Yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah.
saw a steak recipe as well,
I
but that was
think I did-
ribeye, wasn't it?
It was sirloin.
Sirloin.
Yeah.
Right.
I haven't done tenderloin. I'm gonna be honest. I don't love tenderloin because it's a bit dry.
Huh? Okay.
I cook with it. Like I have cooked with it quite
course.
a few times, but you have to be very careful because it does dry up pretty quickly.
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's
Do you need
very
an
tender.
oven for that, or do you,
You
just
can
do
do
it off
both.
the?
I've done both.
And then again, it's not that complex of a,
No.
it's just salt and pepper unless you're
Yeah.
San and you add extra stuff, right?
He's very condescending, but I don't address those things. So there's just internal issues right now.
You wanna work it out?
Don't worry.
Never gonna work out.
I think part of the issue comes from me being a better cook that you'll never admit.
How does that make you feel, Shad?
Insecure.
Insecure. Let me tell you what happens, right? I cook something really cool, like a chicken curry
Yeah.
or a pasta,
Yeah.
and he loves it, obviously,
Yeah.
because I cook it really well. And then he goes, yeah, but can you make a burger, dude?
Well,
He has the audacity to eat my curry and then say, can you make a burger?
It was a good curry, but
You do know
Yeah.
people earn minimum wage for flipping burgers, right?
Yeah, but they deserve better. Like that's the whole platform Bernie Sanders is running on. Like,
Are we gonna get into it?
oh no! What a segue though. Imagine.
What a segue. This was all a trap.
Yeah, right.
But no, like
man.
for me, obviously burgers way easier and stuff. But there's this one controversial topic that I have with a lot of people. Tend to have it a bit more with girls because girls are much like they tend to be okay. They cook every now and again, obviously. But they say that baking is harder than cooking, and you said something like that in the beginning.
I don't think it's harder. I think it just depends on your personality. Like I don't like to follow recipes, so for me, I like to always like make something different. So when it says like 1 cup of this, I like to not add a cup. Like I want to do something different. So
Okay.
baking, you can't have that kind of person. Yeah, so you
Yeah,
can't have
I'll
that
add
kind of a
more
person.
sugar.
Yeah, more sugar. So for me, like baking is difficult because I do have to follow the recipe.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
whereas,
It's more
like,
precise.
More precision.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's more difficult, but I would just say it just depends on like your personality. If you like precision, or if you like, just freestyle.
Would you ever consider turning what you're doing into a business, like catering events or something?
Yeah, I mean, there are other ideas as well, Like, I don't know if I would do catering per se, but yeah, I would love to turn it into a business.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And would you rather do that here or abroad?
Here.
Why is that?
Just because my food is, geared towards Kurdish, flavors and taste.
That's true,
Yeah.
I guess. And I don't know, like, do you guys think there's a lot of because more and more we get expats in both Suli and Erbil? Do you think they would be more interested in, like, trying dishes like that?
I feel like they'd like
Available?
Alka's food a lot more because our food is like it really emphasizes whatever it is that it represents. You know what I mean?
It's
Whatever.
not inviting for a guest.
Yeah,
or-
it's like if you make spicy food and you're an Indian, you want to make it half spicy for the white dude,
for your
right?
guest, yeah.
Yeah. But if you go to Ursay Kalashed, so funny.
It's Osei Kalasher.
It's
Like they're
Osei
not
Kala-
going to change anything.
They're not gonna change, and I don't want them
They
to.
shouldn't. No, they shouldn't. No.
Right?
Yeah.
You have to see the puddle of oil at the corner. Of
You
the
gotta
nozzle.
see it, yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny because we were once there, and we just we hear like this other table of American peshmergas on the other table, and then they were like, man, I just want some fried chicken, and then we know English, so we're gonna speak to them, and we're like social, right? And then we go up to them and like, hey man, how are you doing here? Hi, we doing? What's up? They were like, hey, so we came here, and they told us that I went to a taxi and I asked for fried chicken, and he just brought me here. They were like, bak, 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 and then they just took him to Ursay Kalashed.
It's almost, yeah.
He didn't know Kurdish, so he had to say bak, bak.
Imagine the shock, yeah.
Yeah, imagine what
arriving
he's
in
thinking. He's
front of
okay.
Ursay
He
Kalashed.
probably wants chicken, and it's what I don't blame the guy. Though.
I think that's a really good reading.
That's
Like,
it, that's-
if someone came to me and did that, like, I want to go.
I'll
Like,
sound Ursay Kalashed.
Are you trying to call me a
No.
At
chicken?
my best.
yeah, or something. Or like, I'll take him to a Dodge and like, I don't know.
yeah,
Like,
where do you
not
wanna
to-
go,
Yeah,
really?
but that taxi driver was really
That's a
smart.
good
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they actually. I think they liked it. Did they like it? Were you there?
No, I don't.
Oh, you weren't there. Yeah. Fair enough.
They want fried chicken.
I just want to
so-
say though, Kurds, we have some good street food, and I'm considering Ursay Kalashed and those people street food as well.
By the way,
Let's
Ursay Kalashed represents the street that it's on because there's actually better places. I don't know. if
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Harem Yiqal,
We're
Salman.
giving shout outs to these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not getting all sponsored, obviously. Imagine our sponsor was Ursay Kalashed.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting paid for this.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
sick. That's just slap it on the wall.
What a slap on the face.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to Highly Okay Podcast, sponsored by Ursay Kalashed.
Yeah, Khalil.
And if they sponsored us with Ursay Kalashed, I would not complain.
No, I'll
I
take
would
it. I'll
not
take
complain.
that deal.
I think I'll free gets
Yeah.
every time.
Of course not.
Yeah.
And like my mum is so, because I tell my mum that obviously that's the only brinjushla I'm having,
Yeah.
and she goes, oh yeah, that's great. She's like, is it as good as mine? She starts getting, all jealous.
Yeah.
And then like one day, Harem goes on
Yeah.
Ruda. He's like, hey, that's the guy you get the food off. But yeah, I'm just glad those places exist,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
for single people.
For sure, yeah.
Do you trust the street food here? Because I really do. Like in terms of
And
hygiene.
Hygiene?
Yeah, I trust my people, man. These
Yeah, I mean,
because a lot of people are. Not
it's
eating
street
it
food.
every
Like,
day.
you
Would you
shouldn't.
trust it right now, though?
Actually, no. To be honest, I haven't been eating out for a while.
Yeah.
But that's just taking precautions. I don't think that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't flex over a virus. you
Yeah,
know?
it's sad, like, because you go to restaurants now and they're like, I'm like, hey, are you guys at least getting deliveries? Like, they're not even getting deliveries anymore.
Mm-mm.
They're defeated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People, they feel more comfortable cooking at home and knowing, having the stuff.
We're back on Shad's curries nowadays.
Do you know how to make a good curry?
What kind of curry?
Have you ever made Thai curry?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, it turned out green?
I haven't made green Thai
okay.
curry. Yeah, I've only made
Right.
red curry, but also I cheated because I bought, the spice thing, and then you just, yeah.
That's not cheating, that's just convenient,
That's just-
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have made Thai curry. I have tried a lot of different curries, but yeah. I don't know which kind of curry you're looking for here.
I know it's a green Thai curry.
You
but
like
yeah.
green? Yeah. I
So,
haven't done it. Yeah.
But like one thing that I really like, I'm interested to know about is because you obviously have been very successful in what you've done. Not only the Kurdish food, by the way. Like as I mentioned earlier, Alka went to Harvard, and you done really well in AUIS as well. How is it that because a lot of people nowadays, the new generation, I see it with girls and guys, their mums are fantastic cooks, right? And they grow up, obviously they're much more busy than their mums or parents were. Maybe there's their dad growing up, because they're studying harder or they're working harder. There's less time for them to learn about the food, how to cook. How did you manage to do it? Was it just your love for it, or was your mum forcing it on you?
No, my mom, no, she never
your grandma
forced
did.
it. I just like to spend time with my grandma. So like the way I would spend time with her is like in the kitchen, and she was cooking, so I would help out with things here and there, and I guess that just how it started. And then I realized cooking is not that hard, so, and I liked cooking, so that I think that's how it started. Like I wanted to spend time with them, and that's how we spent time together.
Did you ever cook for them?
Yeah, I cook for them all the time when I'm back. Not.
I was just posting him, like sending him back.
When you were living here, you never cooked for them though.
I did, yeah.
But not regularly, because their food was better.
No, like on weekends if I had
faith in
time
that,
and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Did you miss your mum's food when you came back?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So, go on. Have you got anything to say?
Just a small question. Like, so you make a lot of amazing dishes and you post them, obviously.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just get to wonder, especially if I see one of those posts like
Yeah.
really late at night, like who the hell is having this dish right now? So who gets to eat your food, and like who's so lucky?
My husband.
Oh, I just wanted to ask you, like, to make it clear, like, he's a very lucky guy, I think.
Yeah, because it never looks like it's made
He's
for one.
eating good.
It's always enough for two.
Yeah.
Of course, man.
Yeah, well, I like
It always looks more, because a lot of people call me, they're like, oh, like, how do you guys finish this food? And I'm like, I actually don't cook that much, most of my recipes, like the measurements I give are like mostly for two people, so you kind of have to add more if you need to, like, or double the recipe.
You have to do some math.
You have to do some, exactly, yeah. So he gets to taste it. Yeah.
How was Harvard?
Oh, it was good.
Like, no, that's it.
Like,
honestly,
nice
'cause
parts.
is it harder than people think, or sorry, easier than people think?
In terms of what though?
Like in terms of raw skill, or I don't want to say IQ, but intelligence that you need to have already.
I think the people there are all very goal-oriented and ambitious, so they're very determined to do well and succeed and achieve their goals. So I don't know if it's about intelligence or that's the fact that they're just goal-oriented and they're there for a purpose and they want to achieve these goals. So I wouldn't say like I have met incredible people there, obviously, but I wouldn't say that they're much smarter than my friends who didn't go to Harvard. They're more or less the same. They're just, taking a different approach to life, I would say.
Yeah. And you'd say that if someone who did believe that they couldn't make it there, do you think hard work alone would, have them achieve what you've achieved?
For sure, yeah. I think having the confidence, really, because for me, I never thought, even in my senior year, that I would apply there. Even like I was looking into grad school, but it wasn't even an option for me because I just thought I would laugh at myself whenever I'd be like, oh yeah, like people would say, oh, which schools are you applying to? And I would say this and then Harvard, and then I would laugh and they would be like, oh yeah, good luck, like let's see how it goes, because people just have not seen that happen. Not because we can't do it, just because we don't have that confidence and we just haven't seen it in ourselves, having Kurdish people go to Harvard. So I did apply and I did get in, and it was a really cool experience, but I don't think that that's just, I'm the only one who can achieve that. No, if you do well in university and, you do well in your classes, you know what you want, you compensate with extracurricular activities and things like that. Yeah. So things like that would obviously make your application much stronger. So if that is something you want to, go on to do in life, if you're just, work hard enough, you could do it.
So you were just shooting your shot when you applied there?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Really?
I
How did you react when you got accepted?
It was actually like 3 a.m. I think I got the email and it's like, go on your application and see. and I saw it and I was like shocked, and it was a cool like.
Wait, go on your application and see.
Yeah, because they send you your email and you have to go on the portal and like into your.
Damn, that
Yeah.
30 seconds must
That's
have been
right?
expensive.
Yeah,
think.
and like
Yeah,
and
on
before
purpose.
that I'm like, it's okay if you don't get in, it's okay, like it's Harvard, it's okay, like I kept saying that to myself, you know, but then like it was actually exactly 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so but when I did get it, it was very cool.
Was it a professor that encouraged you to do it, or did
Yeah, my professors, like I always say, I don't know about AUIS now, but when I was at AUIS.
Can you give a shout out to anyone who it was?
Yeah, Marie Labrosse.
Marie
Oh,
Labrosse was
wow.
there back then?
Yeah, she was.
And you ended up working with her, like,
Yeah, at
eventually
Kashkol,
as
yeah,
well.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, she was the one who was like, "Why aren't you applying to Harvard?" And I'm like, I don't know, should I?
You
like,
never thought that was an option.
no, not at all.
That's
no.
so cool that she
yeah,
done that. Yeah.
yeah.
And she helped your best friend Ajin as well.
No, Ajin had her own people.
Well, she had her own inspiration.
Yeah, she had her own things. No,
Fair enough.
yeah, Ajin wasn't doing English.
But did you study IS in?
No, I studied English literature.
Oh right, that's right.
Yeah, I had the best department. I say that like with conviction.
You had Lauren Higby.
I had Lauren Higby. I had Zach Sitter. I had a bunch of really good professors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were really.
Did you ever have Pat
You
Klein?
had the good years, I guess.
No, I didn't have Pat Klein because I did a minor in business, but he wasn't there when
You weren't a basketball player.
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
you weren't one of them. Okay.
No, I wasn't one of them.
Those
I
are
wasn't
only
like
two
Chris
ways
Pat-
you can run into
Right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't one of them. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a pleasure. I mean, unless you've got any more questions.
No, this was great.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having
And,
me.
yes.
Yeah, it's been a lot of
Really
fun.
enjoyed it.
I hope you had a lot of fun.
I did.
If you are not following a Kurdish foodie on Instagram, we're gonna put it in the description.
Yes, of course.
And you know, if you're struggling right now, which I am for sure. I've been on that page a lot more than I have been in the past year. So get some recipes on there. Make sure to thank her, because trust me, a thank you goes a long way. And have a good day, and thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.